AMD stock was up almost 12% last week. It's up 27% in the last month and up 57% in the last 12 weeks. So AMD stock is looking bullish, it is trending up, and it did report positive earnings last week, exceeding expectations, causing the stock price to rise even further. So in this video, I'll conduct a price analysis for AMD stock and offer my thoughts and opinions on whether you should buy this stock now. Let's take a look. I'd like to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/DavidB for the 5 best stocks to buy now. Use my special link to get $200 off their epic annual subscription. If you find value in my analysis today of AMD stock or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my email newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll share with you professional trading tips to help you make more profits trading stocks. Link down below, check it out. So on the weekly chart for AMD stock, we can see that this stock closed at 184 yesterday, looking very bullish. And on the weekly chart, it's clear to see this stock is trending up. Now, I've been covering this stock for a while, so if you want to go back and watch previous videos, you can see how this stock set up for this trade and which rules I've employed to maximize profit. I'm going to go over them today and also cover some tips on trade management to maximize this trade. We can see over the medium term, since this price peak here of 227, AMD was sold off. It did trend down. You can see here it moved down to this low here of 140. There was a counter trend back up to resistance at 187 before it moved down once again to create a lower low at 121. Once again a counter trend, and then it was sold off. So since this sort of area here, it has trended down, and because of that uniform trend, I was able to add a confirmed down trend line to this stock. You can see here with this orange line, confirming the trend is moving down. And it did trend down for quite a while before finding support at around $76. And at that point, there was a big reversal bar here during the first week of April, indicating that possibly the trend was about to change and start to move back up. Now, this strategy on screen, you can see using the trend line, support, and also a price retest following a break of a trend line. This is one of my favorite trading strategies. And actually, you can buy this on my website if you're interested. If you want a simple strategy to follow that works about 70% of the time over the medium term, this works really well. So check out my website, link in the description below. You can check out this strategy and I walk you through the 6 steps involved. Really simple, easy to follow. So since AMD found support at this level down here of 76, it has moved up over the last couple of months. And in this week here, second week of May, AMD did break the confirmed downtrend line, confirming that the price and trend was changing. Now, since that time, it did break through. There was a little pause, a bit of selling pressure here in that week, the third week of May, before AMD started to move up. And based on my rules, there was an entry here above this price peak here, so above 122. So you can see price trended down, found support, broke the trend line, created this first peak here. And then during this week here, so the second week of June, that was when price closed for the week above this previous peak, the first break after the trend line break. So there was confirmation here during this week that price was going to move up, and you could have entered the stock on market open during this week here. So it would have been the 23rd of June on the Monday, and you would have got filled around about $130 buying the stock on confirmation. Effectively, what we're saying here with these rules is the stock has been trending down like so. It's come down, it's trending down all the way here to this support line. It's then broken up through the confirmed trend line to create this first peak, indicating that the trend is changing. It's then had a small pullback and then moved up. And during this week here, when price closed at 128, that was the confirmation that price had broken this previous peak here. And then of course you could have taken an entry during the following week on the Monday when the market opened, and that would have been around about 130. So confirmation above this peak here, and then an entry at this point here. Now of course, if you had entered at 130, you'd be in profit right now. And the initial target I set for this stock was up here at 187, and that was corresponding to the resistance line up here. So that was an obvious target for AMD. Now, if you're using weekly rules, which based on this video, that's what I'm talking about. Initial entry was 130, your stop loss would have been 115, and the initial target would have been 187. Risk to reward of 3.5. So entry here, the first obvious target would have been 187. And that was offering you potential upside from initial entry, about 42%, which is great. So far the trade is playing out well and the stock is moving up. The stock did report positive earnings last week, which brought more buyers in, and there was a small surge in price. And it's still pushing and tracking towards that target of 187. Now, last week, you can see here, there was a bit of selling pressure. It did move down and find support at 157, but then it did reverse. Buyers came back in following earnings, and then it did close for the week last week at 172. So, in terms of trade management, last Friday, 172 close. With that entry at 130, then with the current price as of yesterday, with the close at 183, the position would be about plus 40%. So it may be an idea now, if you're in this trade, to move your stop loss up to around about 157. And 157 would correspond to this price trough here. You can see here that where the selling pressure was last week. So moving it up to there would lock in some profits for this trade with AMD. Now, of course, this week so far, it did trend up well. It is bullish this week, and you can see here the high this week was 186.65. So it almost reached the take profit target. And depending on your rules, if you're using the rule where you're going to sell the stock on the day that it reaches your target, then that might happen tomorrow or the day after. But of course, if you're using weekly rules, it's sometimes better to wait for the whole week to close above your target, just to confirm that it is bullish for the week and it has closed above. Now, if you're using that target as your take profit, take the profit and obviously sell the stock and move on to the next trade. But of course, you might be thinking, well, it has hit my first profit target, 187, which is great, but it's looking bullish. I think I'm going to stay in the trade. I'm going to stay in and wait for 227. And I think one thing to consider when you're looking at your different targets, if price this week, is looking weaker towards this level, you may consider selling because it's looking as if it's found resistance and it might move back down for 2 or 3 weeks before having another attempt. And you may not want to wait that long. You may want to take your profits now and move on to another opportunity. But if you're obviously long-term bullish on AMD and you want to stay in for the medium term, you could wait until perhaps it looks as if it's going to move towards 227. I think the way to think about this is, if you get a really strong bullish green bar this week and it closes well above 187, let's say it closes around about 192, that's a really bullish indicator that it's closed above the target level, well above it, and it does look as if now buyers are in full control and they want to move it up to 227. So a bullish close above 187, let's say at 190, 192 this week, or perhaps next week, could be an idea then to think, you know what, I'm going to stay in this trade and work towards that level 2 target of 227. But it's up to you, it's up to your risk management, whether you want quicker trades, quicker turnover of profitable trades, or you're happy to wait for more confirmation that it's moving up to the second target. So a few ideas there about managing the trade. Now, the other thing to consider is, with the way this price has moved up, you can possibly add a trend line to this price action here. We can see here we've got a couple of peaks and troughs as price has moved up in a nice trend. So with my rules for trend lines, I want to see at least 12 bars in the direction of the trade to confirm a medium-term trend line. So with this particular trade here, since the turning point here, this would be bar 0. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's my 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you've got 18 bars. So you can definitely confirm a medium-term trend. And you can use the trend line as your your marker to stay in the trade. So option 1, take profit 187. Option 2, if it's looking bullish, stay in the trade for target 2. Or option 3, you use the trend line to manage your trade. So effectively what we're saying here is, in the same way as with the confirmed downtrend line, we've waited to buy only when it's broken the trend line. So we can wait to sell only when the price action breaks the uptrend line. So you can see here at the moment, price is trending up. It's pulled back on that red bar, it's moved up again. Inside bar, bit of a trough there. It's moved up again, and most recently it's come back to form this trough here, about 157. So you could put your stop loss right there. That's one idea. Or your stop loss basically, or your sell order is based around a break of the uptrend line. So if price keeps moving up as it is now, let's say it does this over the next few weeks, it's going to pull back, it's going to move up, and perhaps it gets all the way up to 226 maybe in the next 4 to 6 weeks. It still looks bullish. So the moment price pulls back, okay, and then it creates a lower high and then a lower low, that will be your indicator to sell the stock, because you can see once it reaches resistance and this line here is broken, it is looking as if it's moving to the downside, and that's when you're looking to sell that stock. So potentially there your exit would be under this marker here, because it's made a lower high, a lower low, lower high again, and then it's broken through that lower low, confirming that the trend is over and the price is now moving to the downside. So a few options there for trade management on AMD stock. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you in this trade right now? How are you managing it? I hope you're in profit. It does look good right now. Earnings is really positive. So it does look as if now that the guidance for Q3 is also positive. So this stock looks as if it's got more to give, not just for trade opportunity perhaps, but also long term for investors. Thanks for watching.